You are welcome to another English lesson with Olasunkanmi, Opeifa. And today, as you can see it on the board, we are going to be learning informal letter. And our focus basically is on how informal letter is tested and examined in our SSC, talk of WASSCE and NECO. Now we are going to be looking at basically, okay, I've introduced myself. I am Olasunkanmi, Opeifa. Let's quickly look at the definition of an informal letter. What makes an informal letter informal? An informal letter is a letter written to family and friends, and we are equally addressing informal issues. It's very important to note that you could be asked to write a letter to your brother who is a commissioner and advising him. Fine, that one is informal, okay, at the family level. But however, you could be asked to write a letter to a commissioner and you feel the commissioner is your brother, but this time around now you want to request for one or two things in your school. That one is no longer informal, it is formal. So an informal letter is a letter written to someone who is a family member or our friends, and at the same time we are addressing or discussing informal issues. So quickly, let's look at the features of informal letters. What are the skeletal features? What are the things we need to put in place? We call them formal features anyway, that we need to put in place when writing informal letters that will be assessed by examiners. Now quickly, the first one we have there is the writer's address and date. Writer's address and date. Now it's followed by salutation. Fine, we're going to be talking about what salutation is. Quickly, we have body of the letter. We have inside the body, we have introduction, the main body, and conclusion, and we then have subscription. So all this now will be looked at one by one practically. So let's look at how we are supposed to write the writer's address and date quickly. Now, if you are to do that, let's look at a typical address here now. You are using your home address, for instance. This is important. You put the number. If you are using flat, block, and all those ones are important. 4, Ajao Street. Now, every word should start with a capital letter. As you can see there now, 4 Ajao Street, then comma after that, from a bigger location to another bigger one, from one smaller one to a bigger one. Ikeja is the next one, okay, and that comes immediately in the next line. Then there's a bigger location to Ikeja than Ikeja rather. We have Lagos, and since our letter will stop there, we need to put full stop. Peradventure, you are not stopping at Lagos. You want to move on to Nigeria. For instance, you are writing a letter outside the country. Of course, Lagos will be a comma will accompany Lagos. Will come after Lagos, and then we have Nigeria full stop. But we are not going that far. Then we said address and date. Now, how do we write our date? Of course, this is a typical date that we see in our exams and the acceptable one. 7th, please, your TH should not be jumping. Your TH should be on the same base with 7th May, capital letter, starting, comma, 2021, full stop. So let's take this all over again now. 4 Ajao Street, Ikeja, Lagos, 7th May, 2021. You can see our comma, full stop, then comma after the month, and the full stop. We didn't break anything here, so you need to be sensitive to that. So let's move on now. That's for the address and the date. No, so let's check another feature. We've looked at address of the writer and date. So let's see, how do we write our salutation? Now you can see it here, dear blessing. Now you need to note this. It is very close to the margin. Okay, please be careful. Dear in capital D and blessing in capital, comma after it, and very close to the margin. Now let's move on now. Let's take another tip. Okay, we've looked at the writer's address and date, salutation. Then how do we write the body of the letter? So we are going to be looking at that shortly. Now, the body of the letter is very important. Now, while this is going on, you need to know that you can write your introductory paragraph anyhow you want it, okay? You can start with greeting, you can go straight to the point, but I prefer this. Some people are so typical with it, they will go like, how are you, question mark, I hope you are fine, full stop, if so, comma, glory be to God. The purpose of writing my letter is to tell you this. Fantastic, you are okay. Once you have not made any grammatical error, you are fine. But I think I prefer what I have on the board now. I'm going to read it out quickly. I can start with, it's a pleasure writing this letter to you. That's me. I hope you are doing well. I write to discuss my academic plans with you in preparation for the forthcoming examinations. it will interest you that I have bought all the past questions, okay, all the past question series for my subject. I will enroll in an extramural class, and I will draw a personal timetable for midnight study. I will discuss all these in detail below. To me, this seems very mature. Okay, and you can write your introductory paragraph anyhow. Now, just make sure it is well populated. We can see the purpose of writing there, and everything works fine. Okay, now you don't just stop there. Once you have an introductory paragraph this way, the next paragraph is what we call bridge paragraph. Oftentimes you see students saying firstly. It's not always cool. Imagine you want to write 7 points and you get to number 6. What are you going to say? You are going to say sixthly. Of course, at that point you are making some grammatical errors. So you can have something like to start with. Of course, in our next video we are going to be working on full body of the letter. So because of our time, let's quickly move on to the next tip we need to look at. We've looked at address and date. We've seen salutation. Now here's the introductory paragraph. Okay, the body will be discussed fully in another video. So let's take another tip. So we've discussed body. Now how do we end our letter? Which is called subscription. Look at it over there. We say, yours sincerely, I'll do. Now our Y is in capital Y. You need to note that. S, small letter, it shouldn't be bigger than the previous S of yours. Then you have your comma dropped there. Then I'll do is writing to blessing, only your first name, and you put your full stop. Of course, you need to note that you can also add your nickname because it's an informal letter. However, you need to be very careful. Should your nickname be 2 words, as I joke with African Queen, and you write African Queen, remember you're not supposed to have a surname there. As an examiner, I can assume African is your surname and Queen is your first name. Then I underline it for organization. That's marked down under organization. So let's quickly look at everything we've done quickly now. Okay, notice that when you're writing, it is for Ajao, capital A, and then street, capital S, I of Ikeja, capital. Everything we should start with capital letter, and don't forget to have your comma, then full stop when you get to your last location. Okay, location rather. 7th May, 2021. Your salutation is well written. The body of the letter is well populated, and then yours sincerely, I will do. At this point, I think we've come to the end of this. In case you have any question, you can drop it in the comment box down below this video, and watch out for the next video where we're going to be talking about body of the letter, how to count for 450 words, the typical number of words we write in our examination. Until then, keep learning English. Thank you.